for you being an over the top, like this is your natural arm angle. This is what makes you feel pretty fuzzy. The head does have to clear. You do a great job of the torso mechanics. Your spine, dude, look at this. Like your hips have to rotate pretty early because of a slight misdirection, but then the contralateral tilt that you're getting, that's building chest energy, like chest stretch, if you will, to be released. Good glove side. And then the pull gets you into a good amount of layback. So there's just like, all right, boom, foundational piece to your throw. Now let's cook with some kerosene on how we can improve that specific throw. And that's why I like the Tyler Glasnow comp for you too, because like super similar from the jump too, right? Like leg lift, patience, rhythmic flow with the hands and the feet. I really like it. So I want to jump right into like the major mechanical component. Lululemon shorts, I heard are the best. I've never owned a pair. I'm scared too, though, because then I'll probably have to buy all of them. B, we'll talk about the drive leg and how the loading of the drive leg influences your overall direction. We talked about it earlier with your over-the-top slot. We want to make sure we're getting as much linear energy distribution as possible. You do a great job with segmentation. I'll give you some more explainers, some context in the report for you to check out if something's not clicking, if you want, dude. And if you're a thinker, you can grab a piece of paper, just write some stuff down, dude. If anything's not really making sense, terminology's not really clicking for you, the report's going to have it all. And speaking of the report, there's a specific video in the report I'm going to put in there. It's of Tyler Glasnow. And I played with Tyler when I was with Pittsburgh, dude. And it's crazy because of like what he struggled with when he was younger is exactly what I want to encourage you with. Now, the initial lift, like I said, rhythmic flow, we want the hands and the feet to work together. Ascend, descend, it's going to give you a lot of pendulum kind of rhythmic flowiness to allow your brain to understand when to separate, and separation timing usually is going to influence your release slot timing. So that's really good. Before we dive into the drive phase, I want to take a look at this foot positioning here. So at 15, there's this stability aspect of it because we're trying to put a ton of force into the ground. We're trying to stabilize, we're trying to absorb, and we're trying to hold on to that force, right, as we do a drive into our stride, which you do a really good job. So there's a lot of potential force to be here. And without the required amount of stability in like the single leg, there's going to be some kind of byproduct, I wouldn't even say breakdowns, just byproduct things that happen for your body to compensate in a way where it's like, that's a lot of force. So then we're going to load, this way. And I was the same way, dude, where it's like we load and we have a really like deep, good athletic base load, but our direction kind of gets thrown off because the way that our body is moving at this point in our time without the amount that we can stabilize within that single leg, which would be like, okay, you talk about hip hinge and all these things, would just improve the overall loading pattern of that drive leg. And I'm not saying quad dominant, right, where this is happening like is bad or good. There's actually benefits to both. But like I said, with your over the top slot, we want as linear direction and linear energy distribution as possible. So the video I was talking about earlier with Glasnow is he talks about how like he optimizes direction from the leg lift. So you do a good job from the leg lift getting down, and then as soon as we get down, everything's solid. And then I think you get into that phase in which you're going to drive into your stride, and that's when this starts to buckle. Your long toss throw, dude, you said it was like 300, 315. That is about 90 out of the hand, dude. See your foot positioning. This is something I talk about a lot, dude. When we don't have the authentic stability requirement of the drive leg to absorb the force when we're young, or, when we don't do enough single leg exercises, whatever the case may be, if we can shift our foot to allow for a better, like overall optimizing of that posture to load, look at this. Then our direction will clean up for then the retract and rotate to happen on time. See how the knee's going with the elbow retracting right here? Look at that goodness. So it's not an accident, dude. It's not a secret that our long toss, is looking like it's 90 out of the hand, because I think a lot of things clean up as we go into our throw because of the shift of the foot. And as you see here, you're right up against the rubber. That's something that I would just encourage you to play with, dude, is like just play with that positioning of the heel just out a little bit more. Don't get too crazy, because then there's going to be this kind of visual compensation that occurs with your eyes. And the thing that we don't want to happen is is that you shift so much that now you're going even further out, and then you have to even more aggressive pull. It's not that the pull is bad in of itself. The pull actually creates a lot of stretch for you, but you have such good timing of your hip rotation. We want to make sure that now when we anchor down, like we can pull through and get more going linear. So some things, like I said, with that drive leg, I'll include the full report on what I have for like the drive leg mechanics, optimizing the loading phase and optimizing the direction phase. Cause like I said, linear is going to give you more power potential out of the hand, whereas opposed to like a 3/4 guy, it's more about getting more rotational energy build up from, counter rotation or something like that. So some components that I really like to use when talking about the drive leg is, like I said earlier already, with the foot positioning. I have a video on Walker Bueller about that. But like Glasnow, as you see on the desktop, like he's right up against the rubber. He doesn't need to shift his foot too much. But you're also going to notice that he's not really reliant on like putting a ton of force into the ground, because he's got so much lever, so much length, and his is all going to be based more on the amount of acceleration and the amount of linearness he's going to get. Now, the other component that I really like what you do is you do a good job with your head, dude. Think of it like a snake. Where the head goes, the body's going to follow, man. So our head positioning, if you're going to be a linear over the top guy, I would say that's going to be a huge piece on making sure your alignment is appropriate. So you can even play around, dude, with more head tilt on the back hip. I think Glasnow does that really good. He's interesting because he didn't do this when I played with him, but he gets a ton of shift, and you can see as he descends, right? Like he's already favoring that kind of internal rotation. You can see the head just shift a little bit into that rear hip. And then this would be the second piece of like drive leg transferring now with hip rotation mechanics into block mechanics. And I think, again, majority of the times, dude, with mechanics stuff like this, especially at a young age, we clean up the things in the beginning of the throw, and they're going to impact the things at the end of the throw more. Like I said, with drive leg, we're going to look at shifting the foot, controlling the head, and also even using other components to your body to help optimize your linear direction via your load. So an aggressive glove side counterbalance, if you were to do like single leg squat, right, your arms would go way out to counterbalance your weight. Same thing with like the glove side and the lead leg, right? I'm going to give you a ton of progressions to do with like a 2 or 3 pound plyo ball, counterbalance, little dumbbell, something that gives you the stability that we might not have at this point in our development, to then optimize the overall movement pattern, right? It gives you that sense of stability without you having to consciously contract or do anything. The weight in the glove, even like I love doing freaking wrist weight stuff on the ankle of the lead foot, because it brings that conscious attention to yourself, where it's like there's load there. I need to optimize the pattern. I need to optimize that posture to be able to then still move, in that window of time. So, dude, I think you're really on the right track. I really like a lot of the things that you're doing. And just remember, man, like this is something that makes you, you. It's not necessarily anything about wanting to drastically change it. I think this is when we can start getting into the thick of like where we need to start spending some time to get more energy, more power output, more velocity, right? Because the thing that you're going to notice if we were to compare you and Glass here is, see how the posture at the center point in the drive phase is the same. As you get going, he's going to anchor down right about there. You're going to anchor down right about there. So somewhat similar. The goal now, obviously, as we anchor down with that lead foot, is to create rotational energy, to create a bunch of stretch. You do that really good, I'd say. And like I said earlier, dude, your spine works wonders. Now, the goal would be to use the torso rotation and flexion to then propel the arm, the hand, into a great state of layback. So this is what Glasnow does. Probably also what gets him hurt, dude, is because he's got so much layback, right? He's got so much arm speed from all this tension he's created, from all this acceleration, so much length, leverage. But as he anchors, watch him go get it, right? Watch his torso, go get it. Go get it. It's going to fall in slot with that glove side. Boom, go get it. See how that propels his arm slot or his arm layback into a crazy freaking layback phase, whereas yours, it's good, but it's like, obviously there's going to be more. And with you, your chest ends up behind that lead knee. And this is when the trail leg will start to flex forward. You're going to see that there. And I don't want that, dude. I don't think that's a great pattern, just because I think when we look at energy into the ground, transfer, get it back through the fingertips, as much as we can. It's not going to obviously happen. But if we don't get extension, then that transfer of energy through the chain from the ground up into the fingertips at ball release, like we're going to be missing out because of what we lack in stability of the core. The core stabilizes the entire system. If there's an instability there, then, you know, we're not going to be able to get as much back is all I'm saying. And again, I say this all with a grain of salt, dude. You're 15 and a half. I don't expect you to even get close to 100% of energy, but that would be the idea.
What's up, dudes? Your boy Robby. Thank you for watching that video. If you're interested in booking your own analysis, be sure to click the link that you see right there on the video screen. It will tell you everything you need to know about booking an analysis with me. And if you have any further questions for me, be sure to check out the description of the YouTube video you just watched for a link to contact me directly. Much love, guys. Until next time, talk to you later.